Falcon 9 is in startup.
Dragon is in startup.
Ground gas closeouts complete.
Stage 2 pressing for flight.
Go for launch.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 pressing.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Falcon 9 is configured for flight.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. Ignition. Liftoff. And Dragon go Falcon.
Vehicle is pushing down range.
Stage 1
Airship AOS.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
Vehicle is supersonic. Vehicle is experiencing maximum aerodynamic pressure.
It's just after T+1 minute, and we have had a nominal liftoff of our Falcon 9. We're just about to pass through max Q, which is the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will see. Actually, we've confirmed that we've passed through max Q. So now we will have a series of 3 events coming up in rapid succession: main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start. Main engine cutoff, or what we like to call MECO, is where all 9 engines on the Falcon 9 first stage shut down. This is then followed up by the stage separation, or the separation of the first and second stages. And then finally is the second engine start, where the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage lights up and begins to carry Dragon to its targeted orbit. So let's listen into the countdown net for those 3 events coming up here in just about 10 seconds.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
Stage 1 ready to quit.
Now there you can see on your left screen is the first stage, and on your right screen is the second stage. We've just had a successful MECO and stage separation, as well as second stage startup, which you can see on your right screen. That's the second stage engine glowing red there. We've also begun the boost back burn for the first stage. That you can see brightly on your screen, on your left screen there. And there on your right screen, you can actually see the nose cone from Dragon deploying and falling back down to Earth. Now that nose cone helps protect the Dragon during ascent from aerodynamic loads, but once we're in the vacuum of space, we no longer actually need it.
And stage 1 boost back burn shut down.
And as you see on your left screen, it has gone dark because the boost back burn is now complete. And in order to make its way back to the drone ship of Course I Still Love You, the first stage executes a series of 3 burns. The first burn is the boost back burn, which you just saw, and that's meant to slow the rocket down and reorient it for re-entry. Shortly after this first burn is initiated, the grid fins, which are located near the top of the first stage, are deployed to help guide the rocket during descent. Following that boost back burn, Falcon 9 then executes its re-entry burn, which slows itself down before hitting the dense parts of the Earth's atmosphere. Then last is the landing burn, which helps to rapidly slow down the first stage booster as it touches down on our drone ship. It's T plus 4.5 minutes here, and the second stage is on its way to drop Dragon off into its targeted orbit. What you see on your screen there is that nice glowing Merlin vacuum engine. We've had an on-time launch this morning at 2:48 a.m., which was just a few minutes ago, and ascent was nominal. We've had a great stage separation. And now second stage is on its way to take Dragon to orbit. So coming up here in about a minute and a half will be that entry burn that I mentioned earlier for the first stage. If we do land this booster today, it will be SpaceX's 39th booster landing. Now it's very early in the morning here, so we don't get a lot of sunlight in that first stage view. But when we do have the entry burn start, you should be able to see a little bit of that first stage.
Stage 2 continues to follow a nominal trajectory.
T plus 6 minutes, and we're just about 30 seconds away from that first stage entry burn. Second stage is still looking good.
Stage 1.
And there you can see on your left screen there that first stage re-entry burn has just begun. It's glowing pretty bright there.
Stage 2 continues to follow a nominal
So we're not getting a lot of sunlight, at least the engines are giving us a good view of that first stage. Now we actually don't need all 9 engines for this entry burn, so we are actually only using 3 engines. And that completes the first stage entry burn.
Stage 1 FTS is safed.
Now the first stage landing burn should be beginning in about 20 seconds here. It's a bit dark, so we might not be able to get a great view of the first stage landing, but we'll see what we can see there. And it looks like we got an infrared shot of stage 1 there. That's an awesome view. So we're not getting a lot of sunlight, at least we could see it with the infrared view. And there's that landing burn beginning. That looks awesome. Again, we are landing on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. Looks like we're following the first stage all the way to the drone ship.
Terminal guidance.
Looks like we've got a good live view of this landing here. And we have touchdown of the first stage Falcon 9 vehicle on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. That was an incredible view of that entire landing. That was awesome. So now going back to our primary mission, our second stage is about to meet Actually, it looks like we just had SECO, the second engine cut off. And we've got this live view of the Dragon trunk from the second stage, the aft end of, or the forward end of the second stage. And we're looking directly into the trunk of the Dragon. So inside of the trunk of the Dragon, what you can see there are some of these science experiments that Dragon is taking up to the International Space Station. And there you can see on your screen, Dragon has deployed. And again, that is such a cool view of these science experiments in the trunk of that Dragon.
Separation has been confirmed.
As mentioned previously, Dragon is carrying tons of cargo to the International Space Station on this mission. A small portion of that cargo represents supplies for the astronauts, which is things like food and clothing, but most of that cargo represents science going up to the space station. The International Space Station serves as the world's leading laboratory where researchers conduct cutting-edge research and technology development that will enable human and robotic exploration of destinations beyond low Earth orbit, including Mars. So what we have coming up next in about a minute and a half is the solar array deployment for Dragon. And if you could see in this view, the solar arrays are actually folded up against the side of Dragon. So what will happen during deployment is they will actually extend out almost like an accordion. And that'll be around T plus 12 minutes. So we're just about a minute away from that solar array deployment. And what you're seeing on your screen there is an inside view of those solar panels folded up before they're deployed on Dragon. We're just about 30 seconds away from the start of that deployment. Now, deploying the panels does take about a minute, so we do wait for the hinges to lock out on the panels before we confirm solar array deployment for Dragon.
This is Dragon CC on countdown 1. Dragon's propulsion system has successfully primed, and all thrusters report ready for firing.
And there is the start of the solar array deployment. Again, this will take about a minute to complete. And we are looking at the back side of the panels, which is why you see some of that harnessing there, but the solar cells are actually on the other side of the panel. Those solar arrays are looking great. Should be locking out here shortly. And we've got full solar array deployment. Dragon is now officially on its way to the space station. When Dragon arrives in a couple of days, the spacecraft and the space station will establish direct communications link. Then Dragon will slowly approach, pausing at several checkpoints to ensure everything is still going as expected. Eventually, Dragon will be close enough for the astronauts on board the space station to capture Dragon. Then ground communications will be sent from Mission Control in Houston for the station's arm to rotate and install it onto the bottom of the station's Harmony module. Dragon will remain at the space station for about 4 weeks, and then the spacecraft will return to Earth with research and return cargo. So just to recap our mission today, we had a great liftoff this morning. We've had a successful stage separation. We brought back that first stage to our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, for the 39th booster landing for SpaceX. And we dropped Dragon off into its targeted orbit and deployed those solar arrays, allowing Dragon to head off to the International Space Station. Until next time, may the 4th be with you.